All right, welcome to Mom Life Unfiltered. This is our Mompreneur Edition, and we have special guest Cat Jimenez, and I am your host, Malliha Ahmad. Welcome, Cat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes. Let's hop into it.
All right.
Tell us about your entrepreneur / career journey. Like, how did you get to the point where you're at now? And I know that's probably a very robust question, but if you can like bite size it.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, I think I've always loved to produce. So like to zoom out, I'm a producer, and I think I've always loved to produce. Even as a kid, I remember even making diagrams at the grocery store and like dropping in where we get the shit in the grocery store before we get there. So I'm producing the grocery trips. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. It was just I get satisfaction from seeing things come together, solving puzzles, and bringing something to life in a creative space. So, that if that was grocery stores at age 8 to, starting my own production company this year, even, I've just been in a space where I have chosen careers that have enabled that innate desire, passion, and ability to flourish. So, yeah, I don't always think it's a good thing. I'm actually redirecting my relationship or trying to reframe my relationship to producing, because I started thinking about producers are probably very anxious people.
Probably because you have to be in planning mode all the time. I would suppose, right? Wouldn't that?
Planning mode, and then also controlling mode, which is a form of anxiety, right? So I've had these epiphanies lately that have really forced me to kind of reframe my joy around production, right? Because I choose it as work, I don't want it to feel like work. I want it to feel like it's just a natural part of the way I've created my life. But in order to do that, I've had to examine like why I chose production. And I do think it has a lot to do with some of the anxiety I have in life. And it helps me feel like I'm in control. Production helps you feel like you're in control. And there's a huge payoff at the end because you make something, right?
Of course.
There's a productive, functional way of existing that is satisfying because you are bringing something creative to life and you're in collaboration and in partnership. So I know that doesn't tell like the full trajectory because I'm still unpacking.
But it tells enough. No, that's, Yeah. I think that it's interesting because you connected it to maybe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, anxiety, but also as a child, you were doing this, and maybe as a child, you liked control. Maybe there was angst as a child. So that was your form of like having this control and planning was like therapeutic for you in a sense. And so you naturally fell into this production hat wearer.
These are all like recent revelations as I continue to do work in the world on myself, right? And yeah, it's likely that it came out of that, but I wouldn't have the memory of that. I just remember that I actually liked it, like as a kid, right? And I also it was probably reinforced by my parents that I could be helpful, and I'm also a Virgo, and have many, many houses in Virgo. So we like to be of service. So like that just messaging came to me, I'm sure through my parents, that they were like, oh, you're really helpful. And that was a good thing,
Right.
So yeah, I think everything we do stems out of childhood, period.
Absolutely. Tell me, I mean, what questions have you been asking yourself lately? And the reason why I ask this is because I've been having this really interesting relationship with questions. Essentially, I feel like the more questions I ask myself, the more that I'm able to like expand and go deeper and it kind of like, it's a practice. It's an art form of not only curiosity, but learning. And so I'm always curious now about what people are asking themselves, if they're asking themselves, because Felicia Hatcher said the quality of your questions shape the quality of your life.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a gem drop. Oh man, what questions? All right. I stay asking myself questions because it's also something that as a mom, I want to lean into with like my child, right? I want her to always be questioning, not accepting, right?
Right.
Always question, even adults, authority, friendships, statements from friends. It's like, so to answer your question, I've been asking myself a lot about passion lately. And how does that show up in my life? And how can I bring more passion into my life? I have a lot of that in certain areas of my life, but I'm also knowing that I'm seeing opportunity space now that my kid is becoming more independent to create more space for different types of passion. And so that's the big question. I just recently had a birthday and I was like, okay, what are we envisioning for this year? What does it look like? And it really is around that idea of passion. And the second question I'm asking myself is, with the relationships that are meaningful to me currently, what opportunities do I have to deepen within those relationships? And that's a good one too, because I think that enables even passion, like platonic passion, friendship passion, even passion around like wanting to build deeper relationships with my family, right? Family. So that's all showing up as a result of that question, which has been really juicy.
I like that. There's a book that I'm reading called How to Fall in Love with Questions. With Your Questions, or How to Fall in Love with Questions, I believe. And essentially, it's about loving the questions and not necessarily needing the answers, because you can live the answers later. Like maybe you might not be in a place to receive the answers. Like there's different tiers to questions that we have in life. And so when you are asking really profound questions, it's okay to just love the question and be in relationship with uncertainty. And because you may not be at a place yet to live that answer or to know or really embody what that answer is. And then you may outgrow the question. So it's all about the journey with the question, essentially.
I love that. Okay, so is there going to be at the end of this podcast a reference list for all of the references that we're talking about?
I can do that.
Okay, that would be very helpful. I think something that you said around falling in love with the question is also just being okay with vulnerability, right? And also just being okay with not having to control, right? Like to go back to some of the earlier conversation we've had, circle back is, a lot of, I think, living is about letting go. Letting go of outcomes, letting go of expectations, letting go of, even as a mom, like our job is to create agency within them so that they don't need you, which is heartbreaking in some ways.
And I'm sure a lot of grief is tied into that.
Oh yeah, I stay grieving every developmental stage of my child.
Yes. I'm happy you said that. Because I don't even know if some moms are aware that they're grieving every developmental stage, and we don't talk about it as a society as much, that moms are in a constant state of grief, and that's okay, because it is an art and an act of letting go, and surrendering, I assume.
Yes, it is. And I mean, and not just moms, I think, I'll just go with it. Parents, like, in their different expressions, right? Like it's just, the job is to really create independent beings.
Right.
And in
Right.
doing so, they just don't need you. And I'm feeling that. And I'm like, ooh, that hurts. Because I used to just be, maybe I'll continue to be one of the North Stars for my kiddo, right? And I hope so. But the ultimate goal is for them to be their own North Star.
I love that. What lessons do you feel like you've been learning lately as a mom and in your work life? Or do they even, they may intersect. I don't know.
They do. Like, I think that I used to struggle quite a bit when I was in the corporate world, and I am still adjacent to the corporate world. And, we live in the society we live in, so we have to deal with corporations everywhere.
Right.
But I think I talked a little bit about letting go, but one of the lessons that I think is coming up right now is just like I said earlier, deepening, right? And also just being more present. And so like our work lives and our like quote unquote balance that we have, it's just impossible. Like we stay working, I think, as parents, whether that's basics like, food and shelter and, and then you ladder on all the privileges of like fun that we can have in the world. Right. But I think where I struggle and where I'm thinking about in terms of a lesson and an opportunity is around presence, right? Being more present with my kid, especially knowing that the goal is to have them have independence. So I'm seeing it as like a ticking clock a little bit, because, the time is limited. And we can zoom out and say that about anything. The time is limited. We don't even know how much time we have here, right? But if I'm so lucky enough to live a long life and fortunate enough to live a long life, the time is limited with your child. And so us clicking into being more present and doing less, but being more together is a new lesson that's like I'm trying to not master, but at least to practice. So
yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people are struggling with is presence.
Yeah.
Because we want fast answers, and that goes back to the questions remark. We want fast results. We live in an age where we can get information in seconds, right?
Yeah.
And so I think also our relationship with uncertainty and our relationship with getting things in the now, it's always like, you can get a delivery next day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can find out about all your friends and everything. If you go and scroll social media, you can look at the latest stories. And I think that removes us from the now. This whole like fast society, fast answers, speedy food, just everything. You're just going, and not taking a pause or a break to be present, be with yourself, and be in the phases and the moments with your children, right? And because you know that they're going to be out of that phase soon. It's not always going to be there. So presence is something that I'm also trying to understand now in today's world,
Yes. I mean, today's world is designed for dysregulation, period.
Absolutely.
And so like, gosh, not only do we have to earn money to like stay safe and have shelter, we also have to build a practice around staying regulated in a world that is designed to keep you dysregulated. So we stay working all the time. When do we rest? It's rough.
And that sounds like a war in itself. Like it's a never ending battle which brings me to what's your relationship like with the journey versus the destination?
Well, back to, this notion of like wanting to be present. I think I'm just not worried about the outcomes anymore. And I'm just staying in what is important in the moment, because
Mm-hmm.
we're not guaranteed anything. So I'm like, let me just stay in this space. And like, I can zoom out and I can plan and I can build,
Mm-hmm.
but I index towards having the best experience I can have in the moment, in whatever
Right.
it is. Right. So,
Right.
because I do feel like we're on borrowed time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm not concerned about the destination anymore. I just want to stay present in the journey.
Has that changed? Has that been something that's changed because of motherhood, or it's changed because of where we're at now in society, or?
Oh, all of it. I also think it comes with aging, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes with, this is it. We're here. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're choosing, like, we've created what we want to
Mm-hmm.
create. And there's always opportunity to create more. Like, I have a bucket list,
Right.
but I think it's just, again, back to being present. Like, that is something that I really have struggled with a lot because I've stayed busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to unpack that a lot over the time that I've had this child, and over the time that, the pandemic happened, and, and then
Right.
coming out of the pandemic, and now even managing through the current administration, right? Because we just have to manage it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm again not so concerned about the destination anymore, because this is what we
Right.
got. And I want to work with what we got in the moment.
Right. How do you feel like motherhood has changed you as a human?
Well, I've always been an aspirational Buddhist and like adjacent to Buddhism. And I do think that motherhood and parenting, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
continue to go back to this concept of letting go. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it really is a process of letting go. And I feel like, as someone who has chosen a career as a producer, likely because of my own anxiety, and so I have to control things, I'm trying to unpack that so that I don't pass it on to my kid, right? I don't want there to be an observation of control is a way to manage anxiety. I want regulation and breathing and, being present as a
Mm-hmm.
way to manage through the anxiety that we're feeling all around us all the time, given the administration, given the upside downness of the world at the moment. Yeah, I think motherhood has taught me to really let go of a lot of shit, like mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ask myself all the time, I was like, is anybody going to remember this? Does this actually matter at the moment? Like, these are the ways I frame questions when I'm doing something, or something I don't need to give 1000% to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm always framing like, does this shit matter?
Right.
And it's different for me, having a 40-year age gap between my daughter and I, because everything matters to her. And I have to find a nice balance of like how to explain and frame.
Right.
That is not that deep, but
Everything matters to her. Right. Because it's like, also
they're
children
building
are way more present.
yeah.
Right.
They're
They're
building
way
all
more present. They're in it. They're in the thing. They're in the projects. They're like, this is a big deal. My world will crumble if we don't
Yes.
get this ingredient or this type of supply
Yeah.
for my project.
Yes. We can take lots of notes from them around what really matters.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. How are you teaching your daughter to have ambition while also letting her know that she's enough in this world? Because I know that in society, it's like, you got to be ambitious. You got to be assertive. You got to, do the things so that you can get ahead. But also those things that help us, quote unquote, get ahead are not what define us. And it's not what gives us value.
I think that where I am staying pretty focused for her right now, because she is 9, is just around understanding what a healthy friendship is and a healthy relationship is, right? So I think there's lots of learnings there, because this is at that stage where friends, they're so fickle. Like, everything is so fickle day to day. right? And it's just like heartbreak and joy. They go through so many cycles of emotion in one single day. And then you ladder in hormones and prepubescence.
Right.
And then it becomes a whole nother dance. But I think, you know, she's at a stage where she's understanding she has will and autonomy and agency. And so I'm trying to foster that while also keeping her safe. And so I don't think we're at a stage yet where we're thinking about ambition, because her only job is to go to school and right. Her only job is to be in school and try, right? Just try with the assignments and try with PE, because she detests it with a serious passion and will come with any real excuse to not to do it. There are lots of interesting pseudo injuries that show up before PE class.
Of course.
Naturally. And so I think the opportunity at her age is really that the job is to try. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. And when something is hard, you have to move through it, whether that's a class, a friendship, an assignment, anything. Like, the job is to move through it, right? To build a foundation for experiences and references. Okay, that was hard. Okay, what did I do here? So, building all the source material for what's to come next in her life is where I'm focusing. And I think it's nobody has answers. Parents, we don't have no answers. We just we're learning at the same time as they're learning, because we've never had the experience of what they're going through, except when they bring it to you. You're like, oh, okay. What are we moving through? And so, and I think the other thing that I want to instill in her is that joy should really be centered.
Yes.
Right? Joy should really be centered. And I think they have it innately as kids. They're like moving through like what makes them happy all the time. But I need to also model that for her, which is why it comes back, circling back to like this concept of passion. Like passion brings joy, right? And so like, how can I center joy in my life so that she understands how vital joy is to our toolkit of life?
Right. Joy is becoming radical, like a radical act now,
So much of our existence is becoming quite radical in this time.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And something that you said that I thought was interesting is like, as parents, you don't know what they're going through, but also they're they're a different generation.
Yeah.
They're growing up with technology fully. They're living a completely different childhood, than what you lived. And so even if you know what it's like to grow up, you don't know what it's like to grow up now.
No, it's not digitally native children. They are digitally native kids. That is their second language.
Right.
It is wild.
I have a friend who just had a baby. Her baby is 6 months. It was really interesting, but her baby took her phone off of the nightstand and took selfies. I'm not playing. Took selfies. And she sent me the selfies and she's like, it looks like her lips are glossed, like she's giving a whole moment. And you can see her little pudgy arm, like, because she's only 6 months.
6 months? Oh my goodness.
And I was like, these children are in the womb taking in technology before they even come out into this world.
Yeah.
They're already having a relationship and an engagement with technology.
It's so trippy.
Right.
Trippy, and a lot of work that parents do or don't do. Some people are not doing it because they're just fully embracing like that this screen is a part of life. So this screen should show up at your dinner table and this screen should just be everywhere. Right. Because also screens can be very helpful in managing your kids, right? But I think, even more important that and parents really struggle with like, what is enough screen time, right? And I
Right.
think about TV. Oh my God, I went ham hog on TV on Saturdays. Like I was in it. And
Right.
so I feel like it's a form of relaxation. Like my daughter
Mhm.
is using a lot of like AI tools now, and I'm here for it because
Wow.
yeah, she's got quite a bit of skill in the AI space. Like, damn, let me get some AI tools.
Wow.
Yeah, and not just the basics like ChatGPT. She's in Procreate. She's basically using these tools as forms of expression, right? Like and like to enable her creativity, but it doesn't replace anything. It doesn't replace like
Mm.
our ability to cultivate something in ourselves, right? Like
Mhm.
it's just another tool for me. And I think the screens are dangerous only in the sense of that they relate to social media, right? I
Right.
feel a genuine concern for when that is appropriate to introduce into your child's life. And there are just lots of studies now that say that if your child is independent and autonomous and confident in the world, they can manage through a cyberbully moment, because they have like they're grounded, then that's an appropriate time to introduce social media to them. And I feel like
Hmm.
I don't know. I question it because I feel dysregulated when I'm on social media and I'm
Same.
old as
Same.
fuck. I was like, what? No, 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 no. This is not
Exact same.
okay. Like I can't stop doom scrolling right now. Why do I
Right.
think a kid can actually stop doing that?
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, we're all learning together. We're all gonna hold hands together. Her father and I are like, okay, maybe it's just not. Do we even need to have them have social media? I don't think
Right.
so. I think they need to fucking have fun. I think they need to have joy. I think they need to play. Uh,
Absolutely.
and not introduce this idea that you have this social community. It
Yeah.
doesn't support them in this moment.
I
But
agree with that.
could be wrong, in 5 years, she could just be like entrepreneuring and needing some social media.
Exactly. She could.
It
I
could
mean, but
be. It could be a tool for her, right?
right. And I think when it's used as a tool as opposed to your source of connection,
Yeah. Yes.
I think there's a big difference between the two. Because even as adults, we have, we feel like we're connecting on social media, and then we're starting to lose our soft skills and our skills of connecting in person, right? And
Yeah.
so I think that that could have a major impact on children if they start young and feeling like social media is really real, that it's truly reality when it's not. Everything is fabricated and put together and photo shoots, and
Yeah.
it's not reality. It's some sort of magazine world,
Yeah.
and vulnerability is used as branding. um, it's really interesting. So I think that it's great that you're like, I don't know if I want my daughter to be on social media right now as
Yeah.
a 9-year older, right? She's
Oh, yeah.
9.
She's
Yeah.
not. I mean, I'm not even thinking about it until well into the teens, and even then, the
Hmm.
world will probably be so different in 5 years. So I'm just waiting to
Right.
see what's coming. What's next?
Right. What do you have to learn and gear up for to figure out if your child should be
Yeah.
engaging in that? Right.
Well, yeah, because this is the first generation of digital native humans. And so the
Hmm.
studies, the work, it's still being developed. All the
Hmm.
white
Hmm.
papers are still being written on we know how it impacts kids. We know that it's
Right.
not good. Screen time is not great for them all the time.
Right.
Right. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
exhausting to think about.
I
To
can
be-
imagine. I can imagine because you have to protect.
Yes.
essentially. There's this protect but not control. There's
Correct.
a fine line between the two.
Yes. Right.
What activates you, keeps you alive,
Mm.
feeling alive outside of your daughter parenting?
Oh, culture, creative offerings, art, performance,
Mm-hmm.
dance, comedy, a lot of comedy. We need it so desperately right now. I'm also really interested. So I've recently become a troop mom for a scouting troop called the Radical Monarchs.
Too cute.
And that's a scouting troop for BIPOC girls and gender expansive youth.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really been giving me lots of love and joy and inspiration because I get to surround myself and my child with ideas, radical ideas, right? And the badges that you
Yes.
earn are things like radical love, radical justice, radical bodies, radical pride.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have confidence and I have, maybe some relief that the kids are going to be okay when they can be in this kind of space um,
Right.
and grow together and
Mm-hmm.
understand that they have space and agency and power. And so that's activating me in the best possible way. It's a bit of work, being a troop mom and handling, and managing a group, but I have great partners and a great structure in place, right, through the Radical Monarchs headquarters. And so that's been really quite beautiful. That's new for me. But really
Mm.
getting out and seeing performances and even athletics. And I recently
Yes.
became like super clicked into our new WNBA team, the Valkyries
Okay.
in the Bay Area. And oh my God, I didn't realize the release that comes with going to basketball games and being a part of a 20,000 person community, all wanting the same thing, like, right,
Mm-hmm.
their team to be victorious. And so that has been deeply grounding and healing in a time
Mm.
that has been so dysregulating. And I didn't see it coming. I was like, wait, what? This is feeling so great. And I've never really had that going to sports games before. There's
Mm-hmm.
some combination of female empowerment, women's sports, being in community, being Bay Area native. Um,
Yes.
yeah, all those things that came together to really bring a lot of joy. And my daughter and I both recently got into it.
I love that. What has your relationship been like with creativity?
Ooh, I really see my life, the existence of it as creative.
Okay.
Even in my
Mm-hmm.
work as a producer, I actually think that work is deeply creative because it's problem solving,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the way you approach problems
Right.
is create and solving them and resolving
Mhm.
them is deeply creative, right? It requires you to think about scenarios that may or may not have occurred for you and get to the root, get to the bottom of what's going to make this thing soar and sing and shine. So, um,
Yes.
I also feel there's a lot of creativity in cooking. Um,
Yes.
Cooking,
What have you
right?
been cooking lately?
Well, I mean, let's see. What did I make lately? I made a lot of matcha related things, as you know. I
Mm-hmm.
have a deep
Mm-hmm.
matcha obsession, but I've been making matcha pie and I've been
Ooh.
baking ube matcha cookies lately. I've been
Ooh.
making matcha madeleines. In my alternate universe where I actually am like a small matcha shop owner,
Yes. I
making all
want that.
products for my shop.
I want that for you right
I
now.
want that for me too. I want that for me too. So I'm practicing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been practicing, what that could look like. And just, I think cooking and baking is so creative. It brings you lots of joy, and there's an immediate gift at the end of it, right? Like you eat it,
Absolutely.
give it,
Absolutely. You
share
get
it.
to eat it. You get to enjoy and
Exactly.
have this moment of satisfaction.
Exactly. So that's really wonderful.
What would you say your just relationship has been with boundaries around work, around motherhood, just in life? Because I know that's a topic that a lot of moms have been like, boundaries what?
Yeah. I think it's just clicking in to listening in, like, and tapping into
Mm-hmm.
the body and like saying no to a lot more things, right? Like, I think there's this pressure that moms like have to say yes to all the things, especially even if your parents or your kids are asking, you got to say yes, but it's like, no, we don't have to say yes to everything. You have to say yes to the things that are going to bring you joy or that are going to be helpful or that are
Right.
going to be supportive, right? And so I think it's a constant dance of having boundaries and making sure to enforce them. And I recently learned a lesson because I was saying yes to too much but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying yes as the foundation of saying yes was really based in fear. Like, I had to say yes to this because I don't know if this opportunity is going to come around again. But there's a lot of freedom in saying no. I
Right.
can't. I can't. No, I can't. No.
Mm.
Not even with my child. No, that's not possible. You know, and because I have shared a custody situation with her co-parent, my co-parent, her father,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was like trying to convince myself that every week we have to go hard, that I have her so that I could create all these mega memories. But like what that
Right.
resulted in was exhaustion.
Of course. Of course.
Like, oh my God, why am I so
Right.
tired? And recently I was so tired, I had B, and she looked at me, she's like, you need something. And she brought me a glass of water. She's like, Mom, you need something. Because I was at the end tired. And I was like, wow,
Wow.
we're starting to see this partnership develop between us where I like to use the language of partnership in our household because we live in a home that we share. And as a result, we are partnering in life together, right? And so
Mm.
I I'm starting to see the benefit of me using this language around her and with her because she's seeing me as someone that she can support too. And it doesn't have to be one-sided. And that was really beautiful when she brought me that damn glass of water because I was like, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
You're like,
Thank you for
yes.
seeing me. Like, this home is a partnership. Like, we are working together and we want each other
Mm.
to be well and to thrive. And that's not even the first example. There's often times where she'll come up to me and be like, I think we need to breathe.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, thank you. I think you're right. If she sees me spinning and I love
Mm.
that she's breaking it for me, breaking that spin pattern because it tells me that she's not receiving that as normal. And I was like, yes, thank you. Thank you for seeing me. And so that is what I mean when I talk about partnering with, even like your home has a partnership with your child, if it's just the two of you, that is a possibility. And that has been so
Mhm.
rewarding and rich lately. And
Mm.
so I have to say that, I think we're doing a good job together, her and I.
Yeah. I love what you're saying because it sounds like co-creation, right? And
Yes,
it sounds
use
like you
often.
saying no feels empowering, you know?
Yeah.
I think we sometimes as humans, we're like, ooh, if I say no, I'm going to feel guilty or,
Yeah.
but
Because
there's a lot of power.
women
Yeah.
mostly.
Women,
Women
absolutely women.
mostly feel like
Yes,
we cannot say no, that we have to say yes to everything. The patriarchy has done that. The systems have done that.
absolutely. Where we feel like we have to do it all, say
Yes.
yes to it all, and then make it all work while parenting is
Yes.
absolutely insanity.
Why? Why do we need to sign up for that? No, thank you.
Exactly. We don't need to sign up for that. And I think that that is shifting
Yeah.
tremendously right now. I think that a lot of women, a lot of mamas are like, no, just being okay with the no,
Yeah.
sitting and resting with the no. And that leads me to my next question. When thinking of rest, what is your relationship like with doing nothing? Because you being a producer
Yes. We stay
and the
busy.
doing and the planning and the organizing,
Our minds
what's the
stay quite
flip?
busy.
Yeah, what's the flip side of just nothingness?
What do you define as nothingness?
Mm, I think we all define it differently, right? So I think for me, nothingness would be sitting,
Mm.
could be meditation,
Yeah.
it could be laying on the bed and breathing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
flat out, just sprawled.
Yep. That is my morning routine now is the nothingness of the morning before the busy has to start, before the production of the household has
Mm,
to start. It really is waking up and breathing and stretching in the bed. So that's
yeah,
my 5 minutes of me time is for me to like stretch because the bodies they age and decline and
right.
stretching keeps us supple.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a hard time. My relationship to rest has really been quite tumultuous
Okay.
because, as a parent, you're filling every minute with like different types of care, right? And so
Mm.
again, as my daughter starts to get older and doesn't need me as much, there's these pockets of time where I'm like, oh shit, what should I do? Oh, this person doesn't need me. Oh, okay, amazing. Oh, this person can cook their own food now. Oh, okay. Let's see. Like, what do I get? What do I get to do? So I've been reading a lot more, which I think is something
Okay.
wanting to, I'm wanting more time to read. And so that's been showing up, which is quite beautiful. And that is restful to me, but
Mhm.
it's also active in the sense that it's about
Mm.
like words on a page that create an imagination space. And I think that, you know, I think we have to stay imagining and books
Yeah.
for me, right? And I think
Mhm.
that even having imagination, that's something we cultivate in our kids, but we have to cultivate that at all times in our lives, right? We have to imagine all the time as an act, as a radical act, and also as um, a form of dreaming, right? So
Right. Right.
yeah, so Rest and I we're still working through our things, but the body finally was like, "No, bitch. No. You need to
Okay.
sit your ass down."
Right. And the body will. The body will be
The
like,
body will tell you, and you
if you
must
don't stop,
listen.
I'm gonna make you sick.
I'm going to make you sit. I'm going to make you stretch. I'm going to make you breathe.
Right.
Yes. So,
Mhm.
you know, as long as I stay present to that, the fact that rest is actually what is sustainable and what will
Right.
likely keep you here longer. And if that's the goal for me is to just be in relationship to all those that I love in the physical form for as long as is possible, then
Right.
rest is key.
It really is. And you said something interesting about not being needed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about when you're not needed?
Oh man. It's a reframing for sure, right? Because
Mhm.
so much of mothering, like we get locked into this idea, right? That and the framing that like I'm needed, I'm needed, I'm needed. But no, I think you're needed at different phases and like especially in
Right.
the early years, you're needed, you're necessary, but now we're just on the sidelines. I think you get to be walking together now, side by
Mm.
side more, as opposed to me leading, which is really neat. And I think as parents, we're always having to redefine and reframe at every developmental stage what
Mm.
this thing called parenting is and like what the opportunities are. And you just,
Right.
I think if you're a lifelong student, you're going to be a great parent because you stay having to be on your feet. You stay having to be open to receiving
Mm.
and pivoting and switching. And I think I've learned that parenting is so hard, but it's also some of the best lessons you're going to get in life, right? Are coming
Mhm.
through how we relate to our children. And that
Mm.
is really rewarding.
I think that's a beautiful place to end.
Yes, I
Like
think
that's
so
really,
too.
yeah, that's great advice. And I think I think it's necessary for moms, women tuning in, um, to hear that, constantly learning, being an active student. I think that's powerful. So Thank you so much, Kat, for being on Mom Life Unfiltered. It's been a pleasure to have you
Oh,
here.
same. It's been nice to just be in conversation and be in a relationship. So thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it. It's a great way to start my day.
Thank you.